Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I'm talking about the new comics that I picked up in the 25th week of 2019. Most of these comics came out on June 19th, 2019. But before I get into all of these, I did want to talk briefly about the comic convention that I went to last week. Or it wasn't really a comic convention, it's called Celebrity Fan Fest in San Antonio, Texas. And um it was interesting. It was mostly just a lot of driving for me. I got back home from California. I was only there for like maybe 48 hours total, something like that, before I flew back home and got to, it was a little bit more than that actually, maybe like 56 hours. Anyway, I flew back home, got home maybe like 2 a.m., something like that, and I got a little bit of sleep. I guess I got a full night's sleep. But then the next afternoon, I got going on the road to drive down to San Antonio, which is about 920 miles, something like that, from the part of Denver where I live. I live on the south part of Denver, so that helps a little bit. I have a little bit of a head start, as if instead of leaving from downtown Denver, that would add like another 30 minutes to it. But that doesn't really matter. On my way out there, you can hear some of my episode that I recorded on the way out there. There's a lot of bad weather, stuff like that. I did successfully avoid most of it. I did get wet. I personally didn't get wet, but my car got wet driving through it. But I avoided going through the lightning parts, so that worked out pretty well. But yeah, it was a lot of driving. I did stay. The convention was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel like conventions that are on Fridays, and it's not like a holiday weekend. That Friday's like kind of not worth even doing Friday. But and then the other thing about this convention is that the hours, really long hours for the vendors. Like I understand having like stuff after 7 o'clock, have like shows, have like a concert, stuff like that, but close down the vendors stuff, because it's not worth it for everybody just to get really tired just sticking around another couple of extra hours. So this show is, I think it was 10 o'clock to no, it opened at 2 o'clock on Friday, but it went until 9 o'clock, and then it was 10 to 9 on Saturday, and then 10 to 7 on Sunday. And that's it. Yeah, that's too late into the night. Have like the ending ceremony stuff and stuff that could go till 9 or 7 on the last day, but I think having the vendors there that late is just it just makes everybody grumpy. It seemed like everybody seemed kind of grumpy around by the end of Sunday, as it was so slow on Sunday. But it it was good experience, figuring out more for my displays, checking out some of the other vendor spaces, some of the artists that were there. Unfortunately, for some reason, I was put into the vendor area. So with all the people selling stuff that other people have made, well, there are some people who made the stuff that they're selling, but it's very different being there than being in Artist Alley. And I would have really preferred to have been in Artist Alley. Then I could actually be on either side of me, have artists that I could talk to, that like mostly just talk to and make some friends and stuff like that. I couldn't really do that because they were all the way on the other side of the floor. Like it was like a whole separate room that they were on that side. So that was a little bit of that took a little bit of energy out of my enthusiasm, plus the extra long hours. So yeah, looking back on it, it wasn't really as bad as I was thinking it was while it was happening. But it's there are a lot of things that I would have preferred to have been better. I probably could have just asked somebody, and I think that's the biggest lesson, is just to ask somebody like, hey, you signed me here, but was there maybe an open space? Did somebody drop out? could I move over into the artist if this type of thing happens again? Could I be around the other artists instead of between a Sony booth, which had nobody working it like for most of the weekend? There was about a 2-hour period Saturday afternoon that there were actual people there who were operating the booth, like telling people like what the deal was with signing up for tickets and stuff like that. So it was mostly Spider-Man. There's also Men in Black and Angry Birds 2, which is coming out in August, I think. Spider-Man comes out in just 2 weeks, I think, something like that. I'm really excited for that. And I just saw Men in Black this last week. I talked about it on part 2 of this week's episodes, I think. But anyway, what was I saying? So that was on one side of me. The other side of me was like these nails, like nail polish sticker type things. I think it's called Color Street or something like that. It seemed like an interesting product, but it like has nothing to do with what I do. There's like no like crossover at all with the people that would be stopping there. Like a lot of times it would be like a family, and like the wife and like their daughter would be talking about the nails, and then maybe the husband and their son would come and look over at the stuff that I had at my table while the girls are talking about their nails and stuff like that. So that was kind of good, but I think it would have been a lot. I would have felt a lot better having artists on either side of me, actually having a person on one of the sides of me instead of just stuff strewn about over a table, and like just boxes stacked up. It looked anyway. Enough about that. It was a good experience. I learned a lot from it, and I think that's still the most important thing. From this point, I also learned I do not ever want to drive straight through to San Antonio ever again, and straight back from there. And I record this on the eve of my trip to St. Louis, which is 100 miles closer, but that's still a lot. That's still a lot to drive 800 miles in one day. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I'll have an episode talking about that very soon. I'll probably talk about it during my Stomping Grounds episode later this week. I still have to do my NXT episode. I'll do that after this. I gotta watch those shows first. All right, so let's talk about these comics that came out today. Not today. I'm recording this on Thursday. I did want to take some time to actually read as many of the comics that I could that I either caught up on or they are issue number 1. So I did read a bunch of these. This is probably the highest percentage of my pickups that I've actually read since I started doing these episodes, probably. Because there's about like 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them that I read out of like the 15 total that I picked up. But I did really enjoy these. So starting off, in no particular order, this is actually, well, it's kind of in reverse order of how I actually read them, but not really, because that doesn't matter. Warlord of Mars Attacks. This is a crossover between Mars Attacks and Warlord of Mars, which is all Deja Thoris and I haven't read those books, but from what I understand, it's Deja Thoris and John Carter of Mars, all of that. So I liked this crossover between these two universes. Now I'm remembering, there were a few moments that I thought to myself, I need to remember these. I think it's like on page 2 or 3, John Carter just stabs. He's saying something about how they think together. He's like, well, let me make your minds all one then. And he just stabs all of them through their brains with one swipe. So you have just this shish kebab of Martians. I thought that was really funny, but yeah, this is interesting. The only other Mars Attacks series I've read is the last one that just happened, and I did like that one, but I think I like this one more so far because it's not as it is wacky, but is not. It's a little bit less wacky than that other one. And I just realized that on the cover he's cutting one of the Martians like right in half. He's in the middle of doing it. Like one of its arms, its hands is getting cut off, and then the sword is like halfway through its abdomen. That is gruesome, but there's no blood, so I guess that's good. Usagi Yojimbo, number 1. This is Bunraku, part 1 of 3. I have not read a whole lot of Usagi Yojimbo books, but I wanted to check this out because it's a new series or mini series, and I didn't even realize until I actually got it and started reading it that it is this Bunraku story. I absolutely love that style of puppetry theater, and I experimented with doing that in some of my film projects back in college, and I'm really excited to see what else happens in this because it's shown a little bit in this first issue, but I assume that it's going to play a huge part in like battles and stuff like that in the other 2 issues. There is fighting and stuff in this, but no Bunraku fighting. It's all just what's happening on stage in the show that they go to. Sabrina the Teenage Witch issue number 3. I am liking this book. This cover is really really cool. It's like she's entering a portal into the forest there. But I don't remember exactly what happened in the first 2 issues, but this continues from those that she comes across these gigantic creatures that seem to just want to kill her, and she just barely gets away, and she goes to her aunts for help, and they just don't say anything. Okay, we'll take care of it. And then they get all badassed up and head into the woods at the end of this issue. And I'm excited to see what happens next. They're just going to destroy some. Also, she falls in love with some guy that's, I think, is also one of those creatures. Like, the creatures are people, and then the ants, they say that, oh, this isn't magic. This is something else, so we'll deal with it. So, pretty interesting. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. Also, people falling in love with magic things and satanic rituals and stuff like that. We have Faithless, issue number 3. Our main character, Faith, she seems to have fallen in love with the gal that she met, and also with her father, and they're both are very well. He is more. He's more of a worrying figure than his daughter is, but some interesting stuff going on, including Faith's roommate, who is it's a really interesting sequence going on, like parallel action with what Faith's doing. Her roommate gets like okay, so this is a spoiler. I already talked about spoilers for Sabrina, but her friend gets killed by a wolf that's in a picture that she's looking at from the party the night before or whatever. And I thought that was really cool. It was really cool how they did that. It was like it's kind of a common thing. Like, it's used a lot. It's been used a lot that you like zoom in closer and closer on a picture to see like a weird detail, and just to see this wolf like just barely in the background that she zooms in on. She's looking at it on her phone, and then you see the wolf, and its eyes start glowing, and then the wolf actually comes out of the phone and is attacking her. I thought that was really, really cool. And then the last book that came out this week that I have read is maybe my favorite book that I've ever read. Maybe not ever. Like I don't think about it, but in recent memory, this, oh my gosh, Superman Year One by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. With Danny Mickey and Alex Sinclair. This is book 1. It's part of DC Black Label. The other book, this is only the second title that's come out on the Black Label so far. The other being Batman Damned. Bat Damned? Why don't they call it Bat Damned? Batman Damned Batman. Damned. Blah. Anyway, Superman Year One. Like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It's like it goes back from the beginning, and him in high school and stuff like that, like as a child and as a baby, as a child going into up in school and falling in love with Lana Lang, all that kind of stuff. And this is just book one. This is just the first part of it. It's really good. I recommend this more than anything else, even more than Heroes in Crisis, which I still haven't finished. I still have 2 issues to read of that. Even more than I can't even think of any other books that I've liked anywhere near Heroes in Crisis. And this one is like way better than that. So yeah, go check this out. I did get the A and B covers. I'm not sure which cover is which. But one is of him like coming out of what is he stepping out of? It looks like an underground vault or something. Or like it's him coming out of his spaceship. Duh. Wait, why would I don't know. I don't know what that cover is. And then the other one is of him as an adult stripping away. It's just him stripping. I'll leave it at that. All right, so now let's talk about the books that I have not read yet. Because I'm not caught up on it. Well, actually, this one I could have read, but it is 5 books. And it is the Nickelodeon's 35 Years of TMNT collection. And it has the first 4 issues of the comic book. The very first 4 issues, plus the micro series about Raphael, which is it's book 1 of 1. I love it that they have. There's so much about the Ninja Turtles comics that I love. But they are in their original format, so they're actually close to the same size as the DC Black Label books, because they're like the prestige format. They're like 8.5 by not 8.5 by 11. They're the same height, but they're taller too. They are taller. I don't know what the dimensions are, but they're bigger. They're bigger than regular comic books. So I am excited to read about those. The books feel a little bit more fragile. Just because I'm used to having the comics in bagged and boarded most of the time. So when I take these out of their case, it is a nice box that it comes in to hold all 5 of the comics in there. But yeah, I'm really excited to read those at some point. I'm not sure when I'll be able to, because I want to just read them all at once. Because I know if I just read one, then it'll take forever to get to the next one, all that. And it's better if I just put off reading all of them all the time and then just read all of them at once at some point. Barbarella, Deja Thoris, issue number 4. I've not started reading that yet. Maybe I have. Have I? No, I'm thinking of Betty Page Unleashed, because there is some crossover. There will be crossover with both of these titles, I think. But it was just I talked about this like 2 weeks ago, I think, because that was in issue number 1 came out. But the first issue was Red Sonja, and then the second issue is going to be Vampirella. So I think she's just going to be quantum leaping into all these different universes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading all of those. Captain Marvel, issue number 7, another War of the Realms tie-in type of book. Is that Doctor Strange on the cover? I think that's Doctor Strange with her on the cover there. She's got the metal hands going, but also magic. The magic runes going around her hands. I wonder what that's about. Another War of Realms book. Deadpool number 14. Very far behind on Deadpool, but we've got a monster truck and just alligators killing people. I don't know what's happening. And orcs. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about this War of Realms or War of the Realms stuff. Fair Lady issue number 3. I still need to get caught up on those, so no comment yet on those. At some point, I will try to. When I get caught up on a book, I do want to talk about. I try to remember to talk about whatever book I caught up on that week, or multiple books if that's the case. I just haven't been able to do that lately. And I haven't watched any Swamp Thing. Dang, I should be doing that. I think there's three episodes. I was trying to think of the word episodes so far. I'm not sure. Justice League issue number 26. I thought I switched these to the variant covers. I don't know. This cover is still pretty cool though. I believe it is the primary cover. I like a lot of these the art styles that don't have the black inks, the black inking. That all the line work is part of the coloring. I like that a lot, and that this issue cover has that look to it. Lucifer issue number 9. I'm very far behind on that. We've got all kinds of lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! In the background of this one. That's a pretty cool cover. Although it is really dark, so you get lost. A lot of the details of the main character in that shot get lost there. Marvel's annotated book 4 of 4. So I asked to get this one, and I didn't realize that it was just the fourth. It was the fourth of the books, of the 4 books. So I do have this. I went and got on Amazon and ordered the other 3, which are kind of more expensive. I guess I could have called the comic book shop and seen if they had copies of the first 3 issues. I think they at least had book 3. Maybe. I don't know. But it's too late now. I already ordered them on Amazon. So once those get in, it is a massive, massive book. Like, it is bursting at the seams of this comic book bag. But I am looking forward to reading all of those once I have all of them in hand. Middle West issue number 8. This cover looks pretty rad. We got like lightning come out of, I think that's the father's character's eye. I'm so far behind. I really need to read that as soon as possible. Which might not be that soon. Red Sonja and Vampirella. Speaking of Red Sonja and Vampirella, meet Betty and Veronica. I should have already read the first issue of this, but I haven't. But this is issue number 2, and that seems like it will be easy enough to get caught up soon. That is probably the most likely one that I'll get caught up on out of the ones that I'm behind out of this whole stack. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends issue number 14. I'm a few issues behind on this one, but we've got Raphael with the Shredder armor on this cover, and that looks pretty awesome. So I'm excited to get caught up on that. Uncanny X-Men issue number 19, which actually came out like 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. But I guess it was shorted or something, so it ended up not getting it until just now. And issue number 20 actually did come out this week. But I am so far behind on Uncanny X-Men. I think I'm still like on issue 2 or something like that. It's hard. Like some of these, like Justice League and Uncanny X-Men, they come out like every 2 weeks. And so they pile up. You don't stay on top of them. And the Unstoppable Wasp, issue number 9, AIM versus Girl. I am a couple of issues behind on Unstoppable Wasp, so I don't really know. I don't think I know what AIM is. Do I know what AIM is? I don't think they've been introduced as of the issues that I've read so far. I'm not familiar with it if it is something that exists outside of this book previously, but anyway, Unstoppable Wasp is a real good one. Oh, Young Justice is another one that I put that above Heroes in Crisis. That's a tough one. Or not Young Justice. Wonder Twins. Oh my gosh, Wonder Twins. That book is so much fun. I would put Superman Year One ahead of Wonder Twins, even like just like a little bit by like a couple of percentage points. If Superman Year One is the new 100%, then Wonder Twins would be like at a 97, I think. Whereas previously Wonder Twins was the 100% for me. So yeah, that's it. That's everything I picked up this week. I'm excited to get caught up on more of these, so I can talk even more about the new comics when they come out, so I can try to actually read them. Read as many of them as I can before I record the next week's episode. So hopefully actually that's what I'm going to do for the rest of tonight. I could go and watch Swamp Thing, but now that I think of it, it's probably better. That seems like it would be a good thing to watch while I'm driving to St. Louis this weekend, because I'm going to be in St. Louis. It's technically St. Charles, at the St. Charles Convention Center for MightyCon St. Louis, which is this Saturday and Sunday. June 22nd and 23rd. I don't know what table I'm at. I'll find that out when I get there, and I get all set up and all that. So I'll post it when I know. But if you're in Missouri and the St. Louis area, come and check that out. The tickets I believe are pretty cheap. Maybe like 10 or $15 for a day pass, and maybe like 20-25 for the whole weekend or something. I may be completely wrong about that, but I feel like the ticket price is much more reasonable than a couple of the shows that I've been to recently. Like $40 for a day pass is nuts for anything. I guess it does make sense for Denver Pop Culture Con because it's gigantic, but still you'd get more people in there. It was a little bit cheaper. Just make the VIP passes more expensive. The fast passes, make those more expensive, which they already are much more expensive. It's $100 for a regular 3-day pass at Denver Pop Culture Con. That's crazy. That's a lot. And I got that weekend pass because I'm crazy. That's a lot. So anyway, yeah, I guess I'll watch Swamp Thing when I'm on the way there, or on the way back, or whatever. I also have some I talked about. I need to watch these couple of seasons of Survivor from way back when, seasons 4 and 5. So maybe I'll watch those. But yeah, I'm gonna try to at least get caught up on one of the books. So I can talk about like a whole bunch of issues of one of the comics next week. So I think I'll go do that right now. I am in kind of talking about all these comics. I'm kind of in the mood to read some more real quick. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. Let me know what you picked up this week. Which of these comics you read? If you read some of the comics that I talked about reading, let me know let me know what you thought about those. But do all that by tweeting me at TIW Podcast, or leave a comment. If you're listening to this on YouTube, that's the easiest place to do that. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. So that's it for now. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.